Hello, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Welcome back. This is Force, and here today for you, I've got a high-end farming run guide. This video is going to specifically lay out and show you the farming run, basically boss farming pattern and loop that we've been using in the Dark Zone. Now, it's worth noting this is up in Dark Zone 05 and 06, which is the section of the Dark Zone that has level 32 mobs. And the reason we run up here is because, as far as we can tell, there's a better chance for yellow items to drop up here. I would say on average I get a yellow about every 1 to 2 loops. It's fairly frequently, maybe a yellow every 2 loops. I don't want to be too overly generous here, but I've gotten several high-end items from these runs that I've done. On average, each loop takes about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on the speed and effectiveness of your group. So I may not be the best at using paint, but this is more or less what I came up with, just as a general guideline to how it works, and I'm going to walk you through the entire process. If you couldn't basically decipher from what you're seeing here, these skulls indicate boss spawn locations. The orange line is the above ground places that we will be walking. The yellow line is the underground places we'll be walking, and the arrows indicate entries and exit ways from the underground. So let's just go ahead and start off. We usually typically begin up at the West 53rd Street checkpoint, although you could start at any point in this loop if you decided to go on the other end of another checkpoint. Basically, it doesn't matter where you start, but this is just typically where we begin. We then move south to the containment zone, and in this containment zone there is a boss. This is what we call this the cleaner camp. So we go down to the cleaner camp, we do the boss there. Next we head east and cut through the helipad extraction. Now at the end of the loop, we basically go back here to extract, but as we begin it, obviously we don't have enough stuff to extract immediately. From there, it's east towards the underground entrance that is on West 57th Street. Now, while you're going this way, it's important to keep in mind, if you're specifically trying to farm Dark Zone rank or credits, there's a cut through to the news chopper where you can go there. There'll be a couple of yellow mobs, and there's also a chance to pick up division tech, which if you're crafting, you're gonna need. But let's focus back on the boss run. So we're gonna go underground into that containment zone, and there'll be a boss down there. And next, from the underground, we head north towards Midtown Music. Now we're doing this underground, but it keeps us on 6th Avenue heading north. And once you get between West 49th and West 52nd Street underground, you can do one of two things. First off, any gunfire when nearby enemies will be alerted, and that's actually going to cause them to show up on your minimap. So I basically pop off a few rounds, and this will display if a boss camp or if enemies are above us. But if you just use a pulse, it'll show you exactly what enemies are above you, and that will tell you whether or not there is a boss up there. If there isn't a boss, we stay underground and head east towards the pit. If there is the boss, then there's a couple of exits right here. We go up, kill the boss, and then head east towards the pit. As I mentioned, we'll next be at the pit where there's a boss location, and from there it is north to Q Building, which also has a boss in there. And then once you finish Q Building, head north onto West 55th Street and go west on that street until you get to the underground entrance, which leads to a contamination zone with a boss in it. And then from there, we leave, head back up onto the top level, and that's basically the entire loop. You then head south, go through the cleaner camp one more time, and we like to extract right after the cleaner camp at that extraction point. There's another extraction area to the north when you're on West 55th Street, but I don't go there because really, while you do end up floating extra purples and you don't have enough space in your bags, we're really doing this for the Phoenix credits and the yellows. So the fact that we throw away a couple of purples every run, to me, isn't that big of a deal. I don't think it's worth wasting the time to do 2 extractions on a single loop. But if you do, there is an extraction area to the north of this loop that you could extract there as well. But honestly, in my humble opinion, it's really not worth it. Just keep going, throw away some purples. It's not a big deal. You're gonna have way too many that you know what to do with anyways. And that's essentially it, guys. That is the entire loop. Again, this is in the Dark Zone 05 and 06 area, so it's all level 32 mobs. It has us hitting 6 bosses, and the timing seems to work out perfectly that if no other groups are there really messing up this spawn, which will certainly happen, sometimes you'll run across 1 or 2 of these bosses that aren't there. But if you stick with it and just continuously run the loop, you're going to hit more than you miss, and it's going to be well worth your time. So go ahead, check this out, guys. Give it a try yourself. Pick up, obviously, many purples. Hopefully you get some yellows as well. Those Phoenix credits, that Dark Zone rank, all that stuff. And along the path, I didn't focus on it too much here, but get that Division tech whenever it's available. There's a few spots basically right on this path, this route that we're taking, that has the option to spawn Division tech, which you need to craft some of those Division blueprints that you'll be picking up here. All right, my friends, that is going to do it for this video. Thanks so much for checking out my high-end farming run guide. Hopefully it was helpful. Hope you enjoy it. I'll make sure to put a link to the image itself that I made up here in the description below if you guys just want to look at that as a general guide for this run. Thanks so much, guys. Hope you have a fantastic afternoon. Until next time, I'll see you later.